Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, my bad.
Mickey, wake up. Wake
I'm
up.
I had my phone. I was trying to get the sharing and stuff.
Oh, I got it. I guess I got to do that too. Hey, happy Saturday morning. It is a beautiful Saturday morning out there. And I don't know, I was looking at the weather maker. They said it's supposed to be like 80 starting Tuesday. I'm like, okay,
Ain't that
okay.
terrible? We just left and we getting right back in the summer.
Listen, I don't know why I'm still in Michigan. And then when I moved away, I'm not gonna say moved away. I did my business in Chicago. I went to the windy city, the windy cold city, where lake effect is a true um, thing. So I want to say good morning to everyone. And if you are on here, please click like and share. Please click like and share. And we're gonna get into some things. This past week has been a lot. It has been a lot. Um, and one thing I have noticed is that there is a suppression of the news. You didn't hear about, I had in my ward 3 drug overdoses, and they're telling me that all 3 were fatalities. I mean, they didn't make it. Let's put it that way. So if you're on, click like and share, and then also hit the subscribe button to 810. Hit the subscribe because it takes all of us to support these news groups and to support 810 and our other news stations because our news does not get through. And so this is the purpose of having these type of shows so you know what's going on locally. So click like and share, and then let's do it. Mickey, how are you this morning? First of all,
I'm good. And how's yourself?
listen, I guess I'm good. I guess I'm good. So we're gonna start with one of the hot topics that we're gonna talk about. When people are asking, oh, these special meetings, why are you having these special meetings? Um, and the ethics meeting, there was a complaint put in. But we're gonna take it back to, it was June 28th for the special meeting for the ARPA funds. The ad hoc committee, which consisted of Judy Priestley and Liddell Lewis, never had not one working session for the city council. Now people are wondering, well, how did this company or this nonprofit get, they asked for 25, they were given 50,000. The good church put in, they didn't get anything. And so people are questioning what's happening with this ad hoc committee. Well, we now know Liddell Lewis probably didn't show up because she had $50,000 she put in for ARPA. She didn't tell us that. She didn't disclose it. And she was the ad hoc committee. There were 2 people who sat on the ad hoc committee. Not once did she say she put in for Cyrus Park. It is a fact. She put in $50,000. She put in. She was also against those 6, 7, or 800 people with the initial input forms. She was fighting hard and vigorously to make sure those forms weren't counted, those people. And I'm looking, now when we look back, you know, she made sure she got hers. Then when it was found out she put in 50,000, she changed her board of directors and it's the president. Now, if you was doing everything above board, why are you gonna go back to change? That to me, you don't do that. So when we had this meeting, it was properly posted for June 28th. The time was posted. It was properly posted by the city clerk. Now, we were not in council chambers because we were in renovations then. So renovations were over at um, we were using the county and then also the dome. And the dome is a city property, city facility. So they claimed it was a problem. So the meeting got started. 4 people showed up: Eric Mays, Jerry Winfrey Carter, myself, and Quincy Murphy. 4 of us showed up. The other 5 members never showed up for either the 2 meetings where we wanted to talk about ARPA funds with the community. Well, I mean, it was disappointing, but now we know why. Y'all got to be careful. You need to be careful when you take a look at, as we're now discovering, a lot of these people have got 501c3s that are hanging around some of these people. And I'm gonna call them out because we know that Liddell Lewis has a 501c3. She put in for ARPA funds. We know that Dion Freeman has, I believe, 2 501c3s. I didn't know that until this week. I don't know who these social media warriors, I guess, and they put it up. We look at Rodney Porter. He hangs with the mayor. He has got a 501c3. John Cole, who the criminal sexual child predator who gave the teenager HIV, that's a 501c3. So y'all got to start looking at who all has these 501c3s. The new hustle. It's the new hustle. It's the new game. Forget the drug game. It's the 501c3 game. They know how to hustle and to get this money. So I'm looking at all these people who got, and then also let me get back, because we have two Flint City Council members who have requested for ARPA funds, and it is Liddell and Candace Mushat. And so she has, but Candace's does water testing at the Flint Development Center, but she has not openly disclosed to the council that she does have, or she's a part of, she sits on the board of the Flint Development Center. And I believe it's either $200,000 or $300,000, which is the request, but they do test water. But my thing is, be transparent. Don't make us pull it out, put it up there and put it out there up front. So we're going to start with that ARPA meeting where the ethics board is now actually taking action, doing their due diligence, checking out what is going on, which I am proud. And I'm going to send a shout out to my person for the ethics board, Billy Dantzler, who is doing her job per the city charter. She's following the charter. She is stating charter. She's not going on her emotions or anything else. And those 3 women who were there, who sit on the ethics board, I applaud them. Carol McIntosh, I applaud. I applaud Billy Dancer, I applaud. I applaud Micah, and I do not know Micah's name, but they were on it, because they are holding their other board members accountable, and that's what it's about. So we're gonna put that meeting on, which show why was the complaint put in to the ethics board, and there was so much wrong with that day. But Mickey, let's put up the TikTok. And I don't know who these TikToks come from, because I appreciate all these different people making them, because these short clips, I have no idea who made this one, but I appreciate the short clip. Mickey, let's play it.
You wanted an agenda change? Mr. Murphy, you spoke earlier about an agenda change.
We don't have a quorum, so therefore I cannot entertain going into any agenda, because we don't have 5 people here. So this is not an official meeting.
And that's correct. It's not an official meeting. Everybody up there know that it's not a quorum.
Hey, this guy is out of order.
That you should not be in here. At 7 o'clock, this will be closed, because this is run by the administration. You all run the council chambers. We run this. 7 o'clock is because
identify yourself. Let me explain to y'all. That's the devil. Let me get it back in order. Look, if we allow him to say what he wants to on the agenda, he could have said. So he done made a big deal about an agenda. We give him a chance. He don't want to say what he said. Then Ed Taylor comes in here, who has the title of Deputy Chief of Staff. Deputy Chief of Staff for Mayor Neely come in here howling and acting a fool.
Okay, so let me tell you, that was one, and then I don't care who get angry about this. When you use the police on a publicly, legally posted meeting, and I sent the post. Mickey, can you put the post up there of the meeting, please? And
Hold on 1 second. I got you. I'm finna find it.
okay, because I want to show, because they act like that this meeting was not legally posted, it wasn't done correctly, and they are giving so much bad information, just bad information, that they need to, it needs to stop. And see, shows like this with independent people, talking, it's important. Y'all, you need to be click, liking, and sharing, because folks around here making sure you don't suppress it so you don't know what's going on.
It's
They
okay.
don't want, that's it. So a special government is no, not that one. There's another one,
Hold
which
on, I
should
got you.
be, yeah, that's the one that we're gonna get into that one later with the
Hold on,
past.
let me find it. I got
Why we are having that one, and that's a whole nother topic. I don't even want to start with that one. But this meeting, there were 6 officers that were brought to this meeting. 6 officers that were back there. So now you are intimidating with the officers. Normally we have 1 officer. We now have been having 2, which has been Metcalf and Kevin Smith. But there were 6. 7 would include Chief Green, because I believe he came. He did not believe he did come. So we had 7 people who work for the Flint Police Department there at this meeting. ARPA meeting. There wasn't anything that was wrong or uncivil. Only person uncivil that came there was Ed Taylor. Ed Taylor came there and was raging. And Ed Taylor came there and it was disrespectful. Ed Taylor came there hollering at folks. Can you put the meeting up, please, Mickey?
it. Ain't this one, is it?
No, it looks like a regular posting.
Can you resend that back to me? Because I ain't got that one.
You don't have that one.
No,
But
ma'am.
the meeting was properly posted. And that's the part where, the clerk had it. There's no way the clerk gonna show up if it wasn't properly posted. That's just not how that happens. So the meeting was properly posted for June 28th, and we were to meet in the Dome. And they had such a problem with it being there with control. As they say, you got to work together. How you gonna work together when they actually have no interest? They had plenty of time. We just gonna go get past it because I don't want to get into. I'd have to go back into my email. But the meeting, and I'll put it back up on my page later so everyone can see it. And it was for June 28th. And we know it was properly posted. Why? The clerk was there. Chief Green knew to be there. The police knew to be there. Paul knew to be there, and so it was properly posted. And so when they keep trying to say and steer this narrative, they need to stop. Ed came and acted like a fool. Ain't no better word. He came in there yelling and screaming. He had been calling ahead, telling people they better be out of here before I get there. What? Just why? So he get there, he's sitting in the back there in a hot pink shirt, just hollering, y'all gonna break this up. And then they started telling people that they were gonna go to jail for attending a properly posted meeting. That should never happen. 1, the meeting was properly posted. 2, you got 6 police, 7 if you count Chief Green, who said when I asked him, he just found out about it. Now, I don't believe in that. Get out of here with that. How you got 6 of your officers there and you didn't know about it? Stop the nonsense. Residents and seniors were scared. Some of them, they jumped up out of their seat in a hurry. When you're threatening residents with the police, you shouldn't be doing that. So we talked about it in another meeting. Mickey, put up the next TikTok.
Got you. Hold on 1 second.
Or the next video.
I got you. I'm finna put it together right here. Here we go. Hold on. Let me do it this way. And I can do it this way. No, I got it set up. I had to go right back out and bring it back in. I got it.
Which, do you know where they paid for overtime, the 6 officers for the special meeting that we had? We only have usually 1, and we have a total of 6 that day. Were they paid overtime because they drove up in their personal car?
Yeah, Madam Chair, through you, Councilwoman Burns. First of all, those officers were here because we had credible information concerning the fact that this was meant to be a stable, peaceful meeting, and we had credible information to say that it would not be. And so we were cautionary in terms of having officers available at that particular situation. Resident safety is always first, and council safety as well as part of that process. So that determination was made why they were here.
Okay, and that's just, I get that is like the general, that's just not true. I mean, let's just state it, because the deputy chief of staff came and yelled and screamed out to have everyone to be removed. It was an illegal meeting. Then Officer Metcalf told me that, we didn't leave, I was gonna be arrested. I would never had a case, but I guess I was gonna catch my first case of being arrested with the residents on that day, because that meeting was legally posted. And that was not the way to use resources when we talk about overtime.
All right, so thank you, Ms. Burns.
Okay, so when I asked them about, first of all, the officers, Metcalf came and whispered in my ear and said, hey, look, can you, just tell them, quietly just say, hey, the meeting, the meeting is over, because he was getting pressured into saying, hey, they gonna have to go. He's like, I don't want to arrest anybody. I don't want to arrest anybody. So I'm like, well, look like I'm gonna get arrested today. You're not gonna intimidate the residents and then myself. You're not gonna do that to me. And so, no, I did not. So that day, yes, I sent a text out, sent two. Hey, they're threatening to arrest us. You might have to get me out. Because one, the mayor has sent his deputy chief of staff, Ed Taylor. Metcalf had whispered in my ear. He's like, look, I don't want any trouble. We can just, if you can just quietly say, be the voice of reason, to tell them that, we don't have a quorum. And let me be clear with this. You can meet just like our budget hearings and have a discussion. If the quorum, you just can't take any action. You can't take any action. So Ed Taylor coming in there, waving, acting crazy, was completely out of order, completely. And they used him as a threatening tactic. Now, if he volunteered to do it or not, he owes this community an apology. He owes, through the press, the people an apology. He owes everyone an apology. It was a very real, you got 6 officers there. Officer Metcalf is saying, hey, they want everybody out of here. I don't want to arrest anybody. Okay, well, I'm going to be the first one, because you know what? I'm going with the people. Enough of this intimidation, ruling by an iron fist like they're a dictator. Then he's like, we own this. Y'all don't own this. We own the dome. Who is your we? The people inside that dome are the residents. They own City Hall. So the mess that they doing, the intimidate, it was very real. People got up and left and were scared. The threat was real. Now they want to say because it happened in June 28th that it's done. No, it's not done. Ed Taylor's ass needs to be in trouble. What he did was wrong. When we got people 78 years old hustling to get out of there, some people were on walkers. You don't do that. I think that day we had a guy, that was a disability network one. But when you got folks in there who's scared and saying, well, what's going on? Why? What happened with the meeting? Well, you had someone, they were bullying the residents and trying to bully council. You had 6 officers in the back there and they were putting people out, wouldn't let people back in. You get to leave out of here. And it was the sergeant, I don't remember her name, was a female. And she even told me, well, you can't be here. Not wrong. Because you know what? City council members do not have a time that we can be in and out of that building. We can come in, we go through the garage. We don't have, certain hours, but they were taking away people's rights. So the meeting was properly posted. And when you have got a mayor that's saying, you know what, I control everything. And he does. He controls the police chief. He's controlling the blight director. They didn't show up at my meeting. They were told and given a directive to not show up. I had 3 DOAs, not DOAs, drug overdoses. One was he was deceased at the scene. His partner was a block over. Then I had another one by 12 o'clock in my ward. By 12 o'clock, there were 3 fentanyl overdoses. And I believe all 3, is what I'm told, ended up in a death. So I called Chief Green, sent him a text message. I told him, look, there's some bad dope on these streets. You know, we've got some problems. He sent me back address ? And I sent back, would you like me to go knock on the door and ask them, are they selling drugs too? It's not my job. If I'm calling you, you call me back. So when you are making sure, and this the mayor making sure that council members, I'm saying for me, there's no direct connection. I can't send you an email if I'm having a drug overdose or a shooting like I did last Sunday. There was a shooting. Call them then. They ain't heard back from about the shooting. When you have a department head that is so critically important, such as the police chief, and he doesn't, and he's not allowed to respond back because he's being micromanaged by the mayor, it makes the police chief ineffective. It makes the police department ineffective. It makes them ineffective. And when they're ineffective, everybody else knows. You know, that shooting was 1 o'clock in the afternoon when people were getting home from church. And who lives within a half a mile from where I live? The police chief and the mayor. It's inexcusable. And they'll tell you, well, the homicides are down. You ain't heard them holler homicides are down no more. Shootings have stayed up. Shootings have been up. People were not as good of targets or good at shooting, I should say, which is sad, which is a good thing. And the hospitals were doing a better job, the trauma department, of making sure they got those residents or those shooting victims. They saved their lives. So we have some issues and breakdown with government, and especially when they're being micromanaged. So we're going to go on to, so what was the Ethics and Accountability Board talking about? Why was this meeting so important? Mickey, can you pull up the Ethics and Accountability Board? And then we all need
give me 1 second.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and we need to be at 25 minutes and 20 seconds, because here you have, and while you getting it together, these ladies read the charter. They went back, and some of their members, they had an ad hoc committee. Their ad hoc committee consists of William Harris, that they call Billy, Attorney Trishelle Young, and Carol McIntosh. Carol McIntosh questioned some things, and she wanted to add some things. The ad hoc committee's opinion or recommendation, when they came back to the board, Attorney Trishelle Young stated she suggested that the majority of the ad hoc committee have it dropped, which was her and Billy. Carol says, no, I don't want it dropped. We need to look at this. And Trishelle said, well, it is my opinion. We need to drop this, And then they got into a back and forth with watching the video, and Carol wanted a clip. And I'm going to tell you what's important on this, because residents should be able to feel comfortable coming into any type of meeting with City Hall, and that if they weren't treated fairly, that they can go to the Ethics and Accountability Board. It's a part of the process. It is part of the process and part of our ombudsman's office. And if you can't make a complaint to the ombudsman's office and the Ethics and Accountability Board, we shouldn't have them. But you have to be careful when they're looking at, well, we say that this is to be dropped. And I disagree with a whole bunch of it. I didn't agree with Billy's decision, Trishelle's decision, and Patrick's decision. I disagree, because when I'm not going to say validating, when you're saying let's drop it, people were actually scared. They weren't there. They didn't receive those phone calls. But I want to play, because the ethics board has been getting a bad rap that they don't do anything. I'm not going to say it's a bad rap. Maybe it's a justified rap. But I could say this day they were doing their job, and there were people who were blocking them. Can you play the video 2520? Okay, that should have been, you got to go back a little bit. Okay. Well, yeah, it's just a few seconds to catch it up. Yeah.
So we're going to move on to the ad hoc committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On behalf of the ad hoc committee report, for those of you who don't recall, that committee is Carol, myself, and William. We had one assignment that we were working on that dealt with a previous complaint, and that complaint was from a councilman concerning the improper breakup of a city council meeting. We looked at footage ourselves. Shaxta, on our behalf and at our request, reached out to the city clerk to ascertain whether her official record of that meeting indicated there was a quorum. She indicated there was not a quorum. The video I looked at indicated it was not a quorum. Therefore, we reached a conclusion that it was not a valid meeting and they could not take any action. We asked for the city attorney to provide us an opinion on our conclusion to make sure we were going in the right direction. That opinion is attached in your packet, and it is consistent with the city attorney's opinion. So we are recommending that that case be closed and that he be notified that.
I have something to add for that, because I'm not completely in agreement with that, because we also have a section 3-203, sec 202, and it says that this section 202 and 203, it says, but a smaller number may convene and adjourn from time to time. This meeting was on the docket as a scheduled meeting. They were discussing city business, okay? And they were rudely interrupted. And even if it was not illegal, in my opinion, it definitely was unethical, because we had city residents in there. They were threatened to be put out. It was extremely disruptive. I think that when you handling taxpayers, you can be a little more polite. And I think the whole board, because we agreed and took a vote that we would look at video evidence together as a board when the opportunity was presented. And for whatever reason, that is not what's happening. So I don't agree with that.
Well,
Precisely because I feel like the city attorney should have also included this piece, because this is the charter that we're supposed to be enforcing. And the charter does speak of smaller crowds, and they did collectively come together, legally post a meeting, and they also have a right to wait for other members to show up. Who controls that? And they asked Mr. Whoever to identify himself and what gave him the authority to throw them out using police or whatever force. So it was mayhem. So I'm not saying anybody totally did anything wrong. I do agree with the fact that it wasn't a quorum. I agree with that. That is true. But it's some nuances to this. Okay, it ain't just so cut and clean. And like I said, as far as the city attorney goes, if he's going to give us that information, this is the charter. I feel like we should have been given the whole story. And I would like to see, like I said, I thought it was more than one complaint to this piece. So I'm not exactly sure about that. So I think the board needs to sit down collectively and review this information and come up with a collective decision.
so if I can respond, since so we did get together and had this discussion as a committee. None of what Carol is saying right now was presented in any of our committee discussions. You didn't email it, you didn't bring it up, you didn't raise it, because we certainly could have done some research on it prior to bringing the objection.
I said that the board discussed it, and when video is available, we like to collectively.
No, I'm talking about the committee that we
was just emailing the other day, right?
Correct.
And when I emailed you, I said the board in capital letters voted to collectively look at the video evidence, and that I was under the understanding that it may have even been cut. So I'd like to look at that aspect of it.
Okay. And then we responded and indicated that we reviewed the video.
Who was
and
we?
then you said, well, I want Paul to pull the video and present the video.
If it's been cut,
and then
I
said,
want the uncut version.
Take 2 minutes out of your schedule and look at the video for yourself.
And
Why
I
are we
did.
wasting time spinning wheels when we don't have to?
And I have.
And then your response was okay.
And I
you never brought
at
up any
and
of
I
this.
looked at it, and we're in an open meeting, and I have a right to discuss it here in this
I
open
understand,
meeting.
but if
'cause
there's
that's
a
what this
committee,
is for.
then that's the whole purpose of the committee.
Well, the committee just had. When did you text me this? When did we text this?
We started texting a couple weeks ago.
No, but when was the last time we just had this exchange? A couple days ago, right?
After
a couple
of weeks.
Okay, so I just read this in the charter, and this is charter business.
The committee is recommending that it be closed.
You recommending that?
No, the majority of the committee, which would be Billy and I, are recommending it be closed.
Well, I think we have to go by the charter, though, don't we? Don't we have to look at the charter?
We're
Okay.
recommending to this board that it be closed, and that's not in violation of the charter.
Well, the board voted to look at the information.
May I intervene?
Yes, sir.
we get into some things now, which is why we have a committee.
Right.
If the committee is given an assignment, I'm sure most of the board is, whatever it takes to investigate it, is come back. I don't want to revisit something that we have a committee that is the assignment to do and bring it, and we redo the same thing over.
So you don't want the whole board to look at the evidence?
Evident? Not if the
Because the
committee.
ad hoc usually do side work and bring it to the full board. That's usually how the ad hoc.
That's what we
Well,
just
the
did.
conclusion is what we wanted, what the, well, I don't want to get into a long discussion. Let they have here from other board members what they think right quick before we get into it. We'll be here all night back and forth. We don't want to do that this week. We want to be a little bit more. Go ahead.
I mean,
You go ahead.
okay, so I would assume that they would have brought the evidence back, discussed it with us. I mean, I was part of that email, granted, and then we have an open discussion about what were some of the findings in the situation, and then we determine as a collective body, not as a committee.
Yeah.
Just a committee, but as a collective body. Sorry.
And I think that is the idea. They bring the report now, we can take their report
Okay, but
and we just,
y'all kind of aggressive. So what I'm saying is that I hear what she's saying. She found some new information that she wanted to bring forth. And I think we should look at that information as well. And I don't think that situation should be dropped because this is ethics and accountability. An attorney is I get that you are an attorney.
And it's right here in writing.
And I don't disagree with an attorney. I'm not an attorney and I'm not going to pretend as if I am an attorney. But if we're about ethics, what happened that day, it was truly unethical. And that individual should be, we should have some type of recommendation, not just drop the case, because the individual worked for the community, not the community worked for the individual. So there should be something that should happen, not just, oh, we're going to drop it. No.
no one ever said we dropped it.
That's what you just
I
said.
thought you just said that.
What, that's the committee bring it.
Okay.
What you're doing now is what's supposed to happen. This is what we found.
Okay.
And there's some more evidence. Not hanging forward, we discussed what that was that they brought. That's actually what you're doing now.
Okay.
And that's what we should be doing. But we has started evolving to something that between committee members that it shouldn't be. So whatever they decide, everyone have a right to give their opinion after the report is given. Mike, you had your hand up quite a while.
So 302 on special meetings says the mayor or any two members of the city council may call a special meeting of the city council upon 24 hours notice to each city council member and the public stating the purpose of this meeting. Was that the justification for dismissing? Because that does not address quorum. And my reading of the rule would be the special meeting was called,
Yes.
but because they did not meet quorum, those quorum rules still apply to that meeting. So the meeting wasn't would that be Kim's thing, except to convene and adjourn?
Correct. That's
So-
just the specific language.
So when you look at the attorney, what he provided was the 3-203, and that is speaking about the meeting being called to order, and then because it wasn't a quorum, become adjourned. The meeting doesn't go on and on and on, and then you adjourn it. It's supposed to be called up order. We don't have a quorum. We have to adjourn it, and you adjourn it at that time. If you continue the meeting, then it's not really a meeting. It should be adjourned right away. That's
It's just a
specific to the
discussion.
charter.
It would be just a discussion.
Right, after the adjournment.
You can't vote, but you can still meet and discuss city business.
Right, but there's not a meeting anymore, it's just discussion, right?
Right.
Discussion.
So, and when it comes to the ad hoc committee, the recommendation comes to the board should discuss it. The recommendations come to us, we speak on it, and then we take a vote if we're gonna do it or we're not gonna do it.
Right, because the board can accept or reject our recommendation.
Right.
The board's hands are never tied.
But when we're dealing with that charter language, the charter language is specific to open and close. Open and close is there was not enough people here to have a proper meeting, so we have to close the meeting. That's what this is speaking of. That's what you just quoted. It's the same thing. That's what happened. They didn't have a quorum, so they just was having discussion.
Right.
Now they, as I understand it, they had a time limit to be in the dome.
Right.
And that's what they were going on. But because it got out of hand, the guy was telling them, well, y'all got to be out of here anyway.
Well, here's the video.
I already seen.
Okay, you can stop it
That's
there.
what it was.
But when you say got out of hand.
Okay, here it is. Nothing speaks to immediately adjourning. And here we go with, I read Attorney Kim's legal opinion, and it's terrible. We keep getting these terrible legal opinions. And so what he is stating, Attorney Kim was stating, was that when you meet, you don't have a quorum, you have to automatically adjourn. That's a lie. That's a lie. Nothing states you have to immediately adjourn. That's a lie. So if the Ethics and Accountability Board cannot depend on the legal opinion from the city attorney's office, hey, it's a problem. So Mickey, I gave you the section because I'm gonna have the one where it states, it's in red, and it is the charter, and it's up a ways, and it's in red where it's got the bottom of the page.
They got the bottom. Hold up, though, not that one. I know.
Page 27 of the Flint City Charter.
I got you. Let me find this. It's at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, it's got red, and it's not a
not that one. You got a couple red ones on here.
Okay, it's like red, and like one's got like some little red specks on it. Okay. Because it looks like this. I don't know if you can see it.
Hold on, let me see what you're talking about. Yeah, I think I seen it.
Okay.
Let me get back over here.
And so one of the problems is, okay, one of the problems is if you can't trust what the city attorney is telling them. I'm sorry, that one was not it, Mickey. My bad that I just showed you.
Oh,
but
wow.
It's page 27 though.
Let me make sure this is. I got it. I didn't want to put it up on here if I ain't had the right one.
So it's page 7 of the Flint City Charter, which those council members were going over Flint City Charter. I don't know what Attorney Kim was going over because nothing speaks to adjourning immediately. And let me tell you how he's lying. And I'm really tired at this point with some of the trash legal opinions because we can meet and we don't have to have a quorum. You just can't vote or take action. Our budget hearings, we meet. He comes to the budget hearing. He's a part of the budget hearings. We meet, the public can come. You just can't take action unless we have 5 people. You can have one person there, and it has been budget hearings with some departments where it's only one person going back and forth with the department heads. So Attorney Kim needs to stop that. He writing legal opinions to tailor to what they need him to say and do and expecting nobody going to challenge it. Good for Carol McIntosh, Billy Dantzler, and Micah for challenging it because that was some hoopla or whatever. It was a mess. So the city charter says section 3-202. The mayor and any 2 members of Flint City Council may call a special meeting within 24 hours notice for the Flint City Council and the public stating the purpose of the meeting. Everything was done properly. Everybody knew to attend. Ed Taylor knew where to come to raise all kind of hell at. What he should have did, they shouldn't have sent him to do that mess. And then you wouldn't have been an ethics and accountability board with the complaint. So then it states quorum, section 3-203. A majority of the members to elect the city council shall constitute a quorum, but a smaller number may convene and adjourn from time to time. The city council may compel attendance of absent members in the manner and subject to the penalties provided in the ordinance. So it is a fact. You can meet, we can't take action. There was no action taken. And then you have people on this ethics board, not all of them, who are quoting from this legal opinion, and the legal opinion and my opinion, you don't have to be an attorney to understand that, because we meet for budget hearings. You can't take action. If we have 5 people, we can take action. But when you have less than 5, you can't. But it's nothing illegal with meeting. Everything was properly posted. It's not a violation of Open Meetings Act. And so in his summary, he says, someone had asked whether a meeting on June 28, 2023, council occurred without a quorum of its members. Section 3-203 of the Flint City Charter prohibits the Flint City Council from doing anything without a quorum except to convene and adjourn. As a result, while meeting could have occurred on June 28, the Flint City Council could not legally conduct any business except convene and then immediately adjourn for lack of quorum. That meeting was thus either a violation of the Flint City Charter or was not a meeting of the Flint City Council. Okay, he playing both ends. He needs to just say it was not a violation. He's trying to appease both people. You can't do that. That meeting, he knows good and darn well, he should have told them that was not a violation. It was not. We didn't take any action. We wasn't voting. You can't vote unless you got fined. Everybody know that. Everybody knows that. And so you have people who, when you are looking for a legal opinion and they know how to play and fumble with the law to tailor it, that was a tailored legal opinion. He didn't give a precise legal opinion, which said, no, it was not illegal. It was not, because Ed Taylor's basis was, and he stated, this is an illegal meeting. This is an illegal meeting, and has 6 police officers there. So he's full of mess, and they need to stop it. That meeting was not illegal. There was nothing illegal. You can meet. You can meet. City charter didn't say you have to, open the meeting and then immediately adjourn. I just read it. It does not speak to that. They're making up stuff as they go, thinking people don't read and people not going to follow up. They're making it up. And those women challenge, and Mr. Joe King was wrong. He needs to allow debate. Debate is healthy. And when everybody thinking you got to go into a room and it's got to be kumbaya, no, those ladies was correct. Him stopping that, they weren't cussing at each other. They were debating ideas. It was healthy debate. Now, those are 4 very strong women with personalities and what they do in this community. They're very strong. But you don't stop healthy debate, because if it went on further, they kind of draw to a conclusion to whereas, well, let's deal with, his, maybe we need to be a disciplinary action on it. But you don't stop the debate. And Joe King keeps stopping stuff, like he tried to stop me when I talked about that budget. Mr. Joe King is wrong. He's wrong for that. When you stop progress, because sometimes you got to let it all out, air it out, to go through the bad to get to the good. You got to. And so I disagree with that. But those 3 ladies, they're saying, we are speaking up for the residents. We have a complaint. We're going to do our due diligence, and we're going to look at the video. The video is going to show Ed Taylor came into a meeting. He came into a meeting that was properly posted, and he had 6 officers there, 7 if you count the chief. What was the credible threat? Because I asked Clyde on the record. He couldn't tell me what the credible threat was. Why? Because there was none. The only person who was completely out of control was the Deputy Chief of Staff, Ed Taylor. He was completely out of control. They were threatening to arrest people. Metcalf whispered in my ear, I don't want to arrest anybody. It looked like I was going to jail that day, and orange is not my color. So when we talk about that, Ethics and Accountability Board, maybe with this group, they're doing their job. But we got some blockers in there. If you don't want to have someone make a complaint with you with the Ethics and Accountability Board, guess what? Don't go in city council chambers and act the fool. Don't go in there threatening to have people arrested. Don't have the officer ask people, to convene the meeting. Don't tell people, I'm on my way up there and that better be gone. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Stop all that threatening, intimidation, and bully. We tired of it. And listen, I don't want to sound cliche, but we're not taking it no more. We're not taking it anymore. People better start getting involved in a local government, because this is the part that's important. Our government, our local government, and people are entering at the local level. Y'all better pay attention to what they're doing. You better pay attention to people who are Democrats. Pay attention to what the Republicans are doing. Pay attention to what the Republicans are saying, what they want. I think it's a project 2023 or project 2024, where they want to return everything back to Republican or status quo before the MAGA, Make America Great Again. And before I go on to this, I'm going to say, thank you, Jan Marie Arbor of the 7th Ward, for our wonderful conversation, because you got to take and listen to everyone. And her and I had a 2-hour conversation yesterday, maybe longer, I don't know, but to talk about issues and how they are putting it in planning their people at the local levels, not just at the federal level anymore. They're starting local, all parts of government that they're infiltrating. They're involved with us. They acclimate themselves to our culture, to our concerns and needs. Why? Because they're putting their people in place. Project 2023 or 2024, y'all need to Google it, because it is important. They want to do away with Social Security. They want to do away with everything that FDR put in place, Social Security, all social programs that help and to benefit the New Deal. They want the New Deal that FDR had put in. They want that gone. So pay attention. But Mickey, we're going to go on to the next one, press conference. I even got into our council meeting, and Pastor Harris was there. Pastor Harris got to see a dumpster fire up close and personal. Him, and then he had Pastor Reed was there, and Pastor Thurkill. Pastor Harris is over the concerned pastors. And so he had met with Councilwoman Liddell Lewis and Christopher Martin, and they did a press conference stating that where Liddell Lewis said she was called a monkey. He did the press conference, and I don't think Pastor Harris saw the video beforehand. But I want to, Mickey, can you pull up the video with the press conference?
Yep, I'm getting it together right
And
now.
so this press conference, which I think was kind of unfair to, I think it was unfair to, which was unfair to Pastor Harris, because I don't think he knew everything.
Whenever you're ready.
So let's play the video.
Monkey come out of my colleague's mouth. I was in utter disbelief, because this is 2023, and to hear that being spewed, especially on a professional elected platform, it really took me aback. And it doubled down on the fact that we go to work in a hostile working environment. On one end of the council, I'm being called a handkerchief head Negro, and this colleague is selling t-shirts with my face on it, with the racist term handkerchief head Negro, to the community. And then now on the other end, I'm being attacked by a white colleague calling me a monkey, referring to me as a monkey. That's creating a hostile work environment, and it is impeding the work that I am setting out to do. I'm here to do the business of the city. I'm here for the residents. And so if I'm constantly under attack, that affects your mental health, and you're not able to perform your job the way that you were elected to do so. I'm here exclusively to perform the will of the people. Not once have anyone heard me call anyone a derogatory name at all. I use my elected platform to promote the interests of the city of Flint, more specifically the 2nd Ward. And I just want to encourage my colleagues to do the exact same. And so hopefully today will set the precedent. So Mr. Pfeiffer could apologize. And also, his brother made comments referring to me needing a trainer as a monkey. And so all of this is just unfortunate. This is just unfortunate, and Flint deserves better. The residents deserve better, and we will only get better when we deserve better. So I just want to encourage the residents to please take a stand. If you don't believe that racist rhetoric is okay, If you don't believe in having a hostile working environment in the city council, if you don't believe that that's okay, we need for the brothers to step up and say something, because this is affecting the city. We can't make proper legislation. We can't be on our best pony per se, and make the best decisions for this city if we are constantly being harassed every time we step inside council chambers, and the colleagues think that it's okay.
Okay, Mickey, let's, you know, she did not inform anybody on the council she was going to make that press conference. The day she made that press conference, we also had a Black leadership meeting, and she didn't say anything. She came in there and stated she was working in a hostile work environment. And she stated she didn't feel safe in city council chambers. Then she stated in the meeting, at the Black leadership meeting, she felt she was in a hostile work environment. Well, if everything is so hostile, girl, stay home. Why did you even come to the meeting if it is so hostile? What she did was get there and lie. Now, she dropped her head and played the victim role also very well. But then I didn't interrupt her not once in that meeting. And when she spoke, we listened. And then when I spoke, she kept interrupting because I corrected her lies. She will say she doesn't interrupt people all the time. Videos show it. She will say that she's always respectful. No, she's not. She's not. And she's not a truthful person, because I don't want people to forget. She cussed out Pastor Thompson twice, called him all kind of mother effing bees and shots fired. And, you a piece of S, pastor. Not once, but twice she did that. That speaks to her character. She got up and walked out when it was time to vote for the 2 little boys for the pump station. She got up and walked out. Yeah, I see Councilwoman Carter on there. She supported and said she wasn't offended when Eva Worthing called Black people ghetto. She said because she felt she wasn't referring to her. Well, you're Black too, so that means she was referring to you too. But she was offended and said he called her a monkey. Now, she made those 2 postings, one where she said someone was called a monkey in the 8th, from the 8th Ward council member called someone a monkey. The next morning, she said she was called a monkey. Which one is it? So Pastor Harris, he did reach out to me. And let me back it up. After she did the press conference, I had a conversation with one person, Councilman Mays. I said, look, this is bad. What is she doing? And so Councilman Mays said, well, I said, maybe we need to do a press release, because her word sitting out there was based upon some lies. And so when she's in a leadership role as the vice president, she's speaking for the council. She does not speak for me. And so Councilman Mays said, let's set up a meeting. And so, with the concerned pastors, I said, okay, no problem. Called city clerk. You can only speak to 2 people, or only 2 people can call a meeting per the Flint City Charter, as section 3-202 and 3-203 states, which is in the Flint City Charter we just covered. So once the meeting was set up, the communication, Pastor Harris, and the day before our council meeting, Councilman May spoke to Pastor Harris, and Pastor Harris said, well, that's not a good date for me, and I wasn't notified beforehand. That was some communication that was not my part or role in that communication. Councilman May said, well, you did not communicate with us before y'all had that press conference. Y'all allowed Liddell to get up there and speak and talk about the monkey. When Councilman Pfeiffer stated, I corrected it then. He didn't know that. Pastor Harris did not know that we had dealt with the issue when it happened. He didn't have all of that. And so that meeting, I spoke to Pastor Harris afterwards. He called me, and I did set up a meeting to where we need to talk about it. I don't want to have the concerned pastors or any other group. It's unfair to the residents and to the council. And he stated for next Thursday was a good date. Date is confirmed. So people were wondering, why are we having the meeting? Because we want to make sure what happened with the monkey comment and not all the information getting out, that we are addressing it with the concerned pastors, because they were concerned and they had a meeting. They had a meeting or a press conference, and they didn't have all the information. So we're doing it in the public. We can't, we have to follow the charter. We can't meet 3, 4, 5 of us and meet with the pastors. So the only way for us all to get together is to have a meeting where we can all talk about it. We decided to hold it in governmental operations affairs because every meeting that Councilwoman Liddell Lewis chairs turns into a dumpster fire. That is a fact. They turn to a dumpster fire. So we're giving the press, giving the pastors an opportunity to, we can hear and have dialogue back and forth in an open forum, because one of the issues is a lot of these meetings that they have is behind doors, and we're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to be texting to colleagues during meetings. That is a violation of the Open Meetings Act. So that is the purpose for those who are saying about the meeting. The hostile work environment, she created that herself, and I'm gonna put up a couple of things. Mickey, your mic is off.
I'm listening to you.
So are we down to just a strict hour today, or can we run over?
No, go ahead.
Okay, because I want to make, because I don't want people just to take my word. I'm gonna show you, So the purpose of that meeting this Thursday is to deal with the pastors. Pastor Harris should have had his eyes wide open. That meeting was terrible. We had put a motion on the floor to remove her again from chairing. Liddell Lewis does not possess the skill set to chair. Now, she's great at some other things, but chairing a meeting and collectively keeping everyone in is too much hatred and anger that's there. Too much. And she can't let that part go. Her emotions are completely in it, and she comes to shut everything down. So there's a video I sent you, and I believe this one is Arthur Whitson's video. And if we can go to, I want to show the part how she chairs unfairly. You got Whitson's video up.
Okay, hold on one second.
And it's going to be at the 20-minute and 30. When Councilman made it right into the meeting, it was 20 minutes and probably 10 minutes of that meeting was probably 10, 15 minutes started.
You should started at the 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 and 30. Because Whitson was cracking all kind of jokes. I had my praise team skirt on, which was a funny joke, by the way. And so that first 10 minutes, he was on there cracking jokes as the unpaid comedian. But she was already giving warnings, ready to throw maids out, Jerry Winfrey Carter and me out. That whole meeting, her objective is get them in here, throw them out. She doesn't give Eva any warnings. Judy took the floor and she told a lie and said Judy did ask for the floor. The video shows she did not. When you got a chair, the person who's chairing the meeting who's lying, that's the problem. Let me know when you got it up, or
okay, give me one second. I'm trying to get it right.
So when you're when you get up, just pop it up because I'll see it.
I got
when the chair isn't being fair, and it was very clear, Judy took the floor, and Judy wasn't being and she just did. She just, she wasn't being malicious or anything. It was, but when Liddell decided to not acknowledge it and then tell a lie that she didn't, I don't know. Are you at it?
Yep, I'm finna play it. I thought I added it too. It's added. It's playing.
All right. Any more changes?
No, I put that in the form of a motion, and I so.
Mr. Mays, that's improper, because for agenda changes, we are making them by voice, and we're voting immediately.
Madam Chair, without arguing with you, without talking the point of order, y'all said over and over, somebody got to pull up motion is in order. I put it in the form of a motion, and I so moved. Your job now is to ask if there's a second.
Not a problem, so keep it in mind that
motion violates the motion that was approved by the majority of council to vote in sequence, in order, or
Point of order.
for any.
Point of order.
what is your point?
Did she get the floor, or is you out of order by asking for a second? Did she say point of order?
Yes.
Or she just started talking?
No, she received the floor.
So you can rule on my point of order if I had one, but I don't don't see what you do. I'm waiting for you to ask.
Mr. Mayor, so what is your point of order?
That you ain't asking for a second. Y'all in discussion and talking and saying it's out of order.
Okay, Mickey, you can cut that right there.
That's out of order. I'm gonna deal.
Okay, so you can see right there, she says Judy asks, and he asks, point of order. Did she ask for the floor? Yes, she did. No, she didn't. Judy just talked and just kind of blurted it out, which, you know, she tries to be a stickler for the rules only for people that she likes. Then when he asked her, she says, no, she did ask. Judy did not ask. Judy wasn't, like I said, she wasn't being malicious, but the chair was not being truthful. She was not. Mickey, I need you to go to next 49 minutes and 10 seconds.
All right, give me 1 second. I'll set it up.
And so we're gonna just slide down on I guess on some of these, because I'm showing how if you in a, you know, the hostile work environment is created by her. When she shuts you, you can't ask a question, and she, you know, she won't respond. Councilman Mays will ask her, Madam Chair, Madam Chair, Madam Chair, Madam Chair. And she'll pretend like, you know, I'm going to make him ask me 3 or more times before I acknowledge anything that he says. That's not how you chair. That is not how you chair. So let me know. It was on that same video, Mickey, but I don't know if we can keep the video up and then slide it down to it, because I got 2 more.
40, you said 49 in 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was trying to set it up for. Hold on.
So when you're in there in that meeting, that stuff is difficult because the chair is supposed to roll the chair to keep everyone in the meeting, to chair fairly, to make sure the flow is good. And there is no flow. It's no flow. I mean, you ask a question, she's ready to throw you out, and that's a warning. I think everything is a warning. You know, it's impossible. So we were voting again to remove her as chair because we couldn't get any business done again. It was another dumpster fire. What happened with the last meeting? Once we removed her, all 18 items we were able to complete. This time, once she left this meeting, Liddell Lewis left, Quincy Murphy left, Candace Machat left, and with the 4 of them left. 5 of us stayed to do the business. 5 stayed, 4 left. And my thing is with these people, well, it's a time thing. You shouldn't have ran for office or asked to be appointed if your time is so important, because some of the stuff we got to work through. And if you don't want an appeal of the chair, then tell the chair to chair fairly. If you don't want an appeal of the chair, tell the chair to chair fairly. This is on her. I mean, he asked a valid question, you know, point over to Judy to get the floor. And then, of course, she said she did. But let's play this one.
Okay.
Over a period of time. Can you warn her, please, because that's an improper point, because I'm speaking to what happened last week. Warn her. She needs to be warned.
She don't want her, huh?
Are you gonna warn her for improperly taking the floor? I don't think she was here, so she wouldn't even know what happened. No, she wasn't. So when we talk about how you're chairing, and it is a part of what this is about. You have to be removed so we can do the business. That is a fact. That's a fact. Abusing a rule would happen over an amount of time. We just got started. It's very proper for him to ask the attorney, as Councilman Pfeiffer said, for clarity, to refer to the city attorney for clarity from a person who has a legal degree. You shoot out these warnings in an effort to get rid of him, to get rid of me, to get rid of Councilwoman Tonya Burns. You do it. You do it all the time. I have no problem with you like me. I don't like you. But it's very clear, I'm going to do my job. You still have to prepare. I told you last week, take a step back. We took a 15-minute break. You came back and did the same thing, and you're doing it again. You don't possess the skill set to chair fairly. And when our meetings get bogged down, it's because you're chairing. Once you're removed, we finished all 18 items that have been on that agenda that we have been able to take care of. You have been chair, it'll be a year in November. And by now you should know the rules are there to, as a guideline, not to be a stickler, because a good chair is going to say, you know what, I'm gonna allow for some leniency to keep the flow of the meeting, keep every council member in, and to be fair, whether I like them or not. You aren't doing that. He can't abuse the rule if the meeting just got started. He had a question. The attorney was having a conversation with Councilman White. That's the time. It's not abusing when you're asking. A request for information is a quick inquiry. He gave a quick inquiry. Look it up. Look the definition up. He didn't go into a long monologue. A quick inquiry, a request for information. That's what he did. If you don't understand it, look it up. I don't want to travel back down this road again with you because I'm sick of it. You waste my time. Y'all talk about time. You make these bills get into this because of how you chair these meetings. And in your words, I can tell us, do better.
Thank you, Ms. Dunn. Anyone else like to do this appeal? All right, so seeing none, just want to clarify the chair's decision. The issue was that Mr. Mays illegally took the floor away from Mr. Pfeiffer instead of asking the question during his own time. So therefore, that makes that point of order improper.
Request for information.
Why
didn't she warn Councilwoman Worthy that she did the same to me?
Right.
Yep. That did not happen. Yep.
Get out of here, man. She's sorry, man. I'm serious.
You have to be clear. We're talking about the abuse of privilege motion. We're talking about abusing request for information, abusing request for points of order. That's what we're referring to. And underneath this appeal, the chair gave Mr. Mays a warning. That was not the first point of order, but Mr. Mays' point of order was improper. And you cannot take away the floor using improper points of order. That's why the chair issued the first warning. So with that being said, if you would like to vote against the chair, vote yes. If you would like to vote to uphold the ruling of the chair, vote no. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Yes. Mr. Ricardo.
Yes.
Ms. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Mayor.
Yes.
No.
No.
She needs to take a first.
Yes. 2 no, 1 abstention.
The vote is 6 yes, 2 no, 1 abstention. The ruling of the chair has been overturned. All right. And we are on to
Okay, Mickey, are we almost at 52?
back to the request for changes and to the agenda.
We at 54.
Okay. So we can stop it there. So here you have the council voted to overturn the ruling of the chair because she's frivolous and petty. I mean, Quincy gonna get in trouble voting against her. Listen, we got to look out for Quincy. Quincy said 2 times she got mad when he told her, you do be doing stuff wrong. What do I be doing wrong? What did I do wrong? What are you talking about? I'm like, and Jerry was like, Quincy, you better watch it over there now. You're gonna get in trouble. You have to be able to take constructive criticism. She cannot. She doesn't see herself as ever being wrong. She does not. She also doesn't have the ability to warn Eva. I don't care what Eva does. Eva just runs amok all over her. She runs over her. She don't follow the rules. And she sits there in her, well, you know what? Yes, that's right. I'm right. Nothing's going to be done. And she makes little faces and says little stuff. And that's where, Councilman Pfeiffer has had to deal with for almost 2 years. And y'all don't hear everything. You don't hear everything. So she don't have the ability to chair fairly. And she does points of orders and points of information herself. And maybe I need to do a whole show where we're showing, where she does that, but she do it. Point of order, point of information. She's a terrible chair. Once she was removed, that was another meeting that was a dumpster fire. We were able to finish the agendas. And that is the problem. We couldn't have created that. And Pastor Harris stayed probably to about 11 o'clock that night. And he got to see a whole lot. And she gets into a zone, and it's just like, you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to go by what I do. And she couldn't deviate to get back on track because she was ruling by anger, hatred, and it's how she talks to people. And so when we look for leadership, she can't lead us. She's not truthful. When does all of these lies lead to the truth? They're not. I don't trust him. Why she didn't tell us about the $1,500 check? She didn't. Then she went to change her nonprofit as far as the director, the secretary, the president, and then they reissued it back up for the $50,000. What she is going to do is make sure she get that bag, and that's what she's going to do. So I want to, and Mickey, put up some of the questions. Because listen, everybody, I appreciate y'all being on here. I truly do. And it's a beautiful Saturday morning. So Jewel Wilson said, and I don't know who Jewel Wilson is, but thank you. She said, make sure somebody close to Tonya Burns get these questions. She said, is it really concerning that 2 council persons took money from an entity doing business with the city, didn't disclose, and literally have nothing done? It should have been disclosed with the council. And I think that you have a responsibility. Councilwoman Lewis was absent twice when she thought we were going to vote on those. And so she wouldn't have had to abstain because she wasn't there. And Jewel, listen, not a he, I'm sorry. I couldn't see the picture. It's the one not to be, Jewel is a woman. And I didn't, if I misspoke. They also often call me Councilman Burns. So it was not meant by that at all. Not at all. So my apologies to you for that. But they should have disclosed that they had taken, they had applied for ARPA money. And so what we did do is to subpoena all of the records to have Ernst & Young, because Ernst & Young hasn't been there in about 6 weeks, at least. So is our process fair and transparent? No, it is not. What do we hope? What do I hope to get out of the meeting this Thursday coming up? I hope that the pastors, Pastor Harris can reflect, and the other pastors who plan on attending need to review at least the past maybe 2 or 3 meetings so they know that they're coming in there understanding what's going on, and that it's not the monkey, it is the issue. The issue is how she chairs for the past year. It's how she chairs and how they say, we're not getting business done. We do get business done when she's not the chair. That's the fact. It was getting done. So I want to make sure I'm covering everything with that. And we have went slightly over. Mickey, can you put up the pastor meeting, the comment that she put? This is how
I got you. Hold on one second.
Because Liddell Lewis made a comment on about the pastors and about the council, I should say. And her comment, and Mickey's gonna put it up so we can all go over it together. And she'll say, she's not out here doing anything, and her comments that she puts up, and she also says she don't do nothing on social media. And then I, brought up about her putting up me and Jerry Winfrey Carter's comments. So she put, on here. This is regarding, after the press conference. She put council members calling council meetings without consenting with other colleagues is a problem. They would have known about a lack of a quorum if they would have reached out to other colleagues. Moreover, the callers of the meeting forgot to check the availability of the concerned pastors. These rogue gatherings held under the guise of a council meeting must stop. Stop. Missing a rogue meeting while I was at a League of Women Voters conference is what triggered my unnecessary recall, So here's the thing. You can't call up all council members and say, would you like to have a meeting? You can't do that. You can't. That's a rule. You can't do that, because that's doing a round robin, which allows for discussion. You're breaking the city charter and the Open Meetings Act, and she doesn't understand that part. You have to do it by two. The charter in section 3-202 states that any two members of the mayor can call a meeting. It doesn't say you can call on 9 members and see if y'all want to do a meeting. It doesn't say you can call 7 of them. It doesn't say you can call 3. It says 2, TWO, dos. If you speak Spanish, uno, dos, 2. 2 people can call a meeting. You cannot do a round robin and have everybody do it. You can't do that. You can't. It is against the Open Meetings Act. And so when they want to say about these meetings and we're having them, you can call 2. Was there a communication problem with getting the meeting and Pastor Harris? He is back on. Yes, there obviously was. And Pastor Harris had talked to Councilman Mays. Councilman Mays had stated, hey, you didn't contact us about the press conference. They're going to talk about that and work it out. And I feel they'll come to a solution. But her part with the pastor, the meeting was canceled before our meeting on Monday. It was canceled because I canceled the meeting. My name was on the bottom of that. I canceled it before the meeting. And I told Candace Wachette, she was sitting next to me. Her and I had a discussion about it. I told, and Davina canceled it because I wanted to make sure that people who were there in those council chambers knew that the meeting was not going to be going on. And the meeting was canceled. It was canceled. So when we look at, she tries to act like there's not fair play or whatever. Mickey, put up the letter, which I want to know how internal documents that says to the pastors got into Liddell Lewis's hands and she used it. So it states, and this was on 9/26, the day after the meeting. The meeting had been canceled, and I had talked to Pastor Harris that early afternoon. And so the meeting was canceled. By the time our meeting before it started, the meeting had been canceled. And it says, hello, pastor. Liddell Lewis is not a pastor. Please disregard the notice that was sent out by members of the Flint City Council saying that the concerned pastors associations are meeting with them on 9/26/2023. The meeting was scheduled without any consultation with me as president. As president, I will inform you of any such meetings we agree on to attend. So Liddell Lewis put this up on her Facebook page, along with the comment, these rogue meetings. We can only do by two people. You can't do round robin. So she did that's what they had been doing. She going by because her and her group, they would call each other, make meetings and have discussions. So when they came, they knew how they were going to vote because in my opinion, because they were already discussing it. And it shows her pattern. So she's not a pastor. Now, how she got the pastor's internal letter? What pastor gave Liddell Lewis the internal letter? Who gave her the internal letter? Mickey, pin that one and leave that one up there for a minute, because I'm going to get to that comment by Jewel Wilson in a minute. And she's got an internal letter. And she's putting it up like, hey, I'm showing y'all, here's the letter. Concerned pastors didn't know. She was proving her point with an internal document with the concerned pastors. So I'm very apprehensive and peeved because she used something. This is a time to let's bring the community together. She's using an internal letter from the pastor. She's not a pastor, to say this is the problem with the council. So you give council, you given the community and giving the pastors, you're presenting false information. Now, how's this going to play out on Thursday? I hope that Pastor Harris has a conversation with Councilman Mays, because Liddell put that letter up and she shouldn't have, because it's not going to play out well with a lot of the members of the council. Why is she putting up an internal letter from the concerned pastor? That makes you don't want to trust trust the pastors. You know, I feel a good rapport, and I'm only speaking for myself. I won't speak for Councilman Major and for Carter. I won't speak for anyone else on that council, but I have a good rapport with Pastor Harris, who's over the concerned pastors. I don't think Pastor Harris would have put that out there and said, hey, put that letter out there. I don't believe he knows or would have given permission. I don't believe it came from Pastor Harris to put that up there at all. I do not. But what she did was take a letter from the concerned pastors to further divide this community, because that's what she does. She's a divider. She's very divisive, and she's wrong. So can you, I'm going to back this up a little bit. Now, this one I wasn't going to talk about yet. It's been so much going on. You know, when we talk about these round robins that they do, I'm going to hold this one to next week, because we had a letter which was sent. I'm going to hold this one to next week, because for the first time, Attorney Kim did give a good legal opinion or advice on this one. Yeah, but we're going to talk about these round robins next week and how they doing them. But can you put up that one comment with Jewel Wilson?
Oh, I got you right here. This one right here.
Yeah, I'm convinced that Liddell thought that being on the ad hoc was strategically place her in a position to manipulate, hide, and control the flow of ARPA into the council. Thus, the reason being so shady. Well, she was in the reason, but she spoke out against those 600-700 forms, initial input forms, the process we have to follow. The ad hoc committee never gave one meeting. Not one meeting was given to have an open session. Now, guess what everybody is saying in the resident? We need an open session. She didn't attend the ones we held because she, I guess, was too above it. But she didn't tell us she put in for her money. She never told us. She didn't disclose it. She didn't say anything. And now they're saying, we need to, and now we want to work backwards. Now that we had to subpoena to find out what the records was, who put in. If you put in for $25,000, who approved for you to get $50,000 when the max for your category, I believe, was $25,000? If you put in for $150,000, who approved for you to get an extra $75,000? That was the problem with that board. Who was making these approvals? Who was okay in all of this? Because we don't know with the ad hoc committee. Judy Priestley stated, who was the second person, she's one of the two people who are on the ad hoc committee. She stated this administration was very secretive. This administration kept us in the dark when it came to ARPA funds. It's on the record. Judy Priestley stated this administration kept us in the dark. This administration was very secretive with this process. I asked Judy, did she know that Councilwoman Lewis had put in for ARPA funds? She says, no, Tonya, I just learned of it just right now. So when I look at all of those things matter. They matter. And was she being truthful? Liddell Lewis, no. Do I trust her? No. So can you have her as the vice president lead the city council? No, because people question her ethics. Why? Why are we questioning her ethics? One of her ethics is, she took that check for $1,500 and said nothing was wrong with it. She also voted no on pump station number 2, not once, but twice. She cussed out Pastor Thompson, not once, but twice. Maybe 2 was her number. She cussed out Pastor Thompson. Oh, and she's in the second ward. So maybe she had to do everything in doubles. She cussed out Pastor Thompson not once, but twice. She called and cussed him out the first time when he was at the studio. And then she cussed him out a second time when he was at the Flint Public Library, where the security had to come out. When we talk about leading and we talk about the points of order. So, she claims, that those are throwing her off and, we're trying to mess the meetings up. No, that is just a blatant lie. That's a blatant lie. She doesn't possess the ability to chair. When Attorney Katina Urban sent the letter all the way, and she's not the only one. I've received a few letters from attorneys. They came from Black women attorneys who were trying to say to her, like, look, sis, you gotta, correct yourself. Look, sis, we need, we want to help. We want you to be your best you. She does not take any corrective advice. or input or insight. She does not. And when Quincy tried to tell her that, ooh, the looks, I was like, ooh, Quincy, you about to get it. She can't take constructive criticism. And I'm gonna say Satara's mom's name so wrong. Can you put that one back up? Pronounce her name for me, Mickey.
I want to say Asia Aquil. I call her Mama Aquil.
Mama Aquil. So Mama Aquil, but perhaps she realized it's time to break free in order to save herself. That's a very valid point. I don't know what she's doing. Philip Lee. And there's another thing. There's been at least 2 coded threats during council sessions, and they should have been criminally charged and investigated. None of those things have happened. Why? Which one was the coded threats? Because we do a meeting underneath the guise of threats all day long up in those council chambers. Any other comments, Mick, you think you should throw up that, you see, because it's hard for me to do this and then do other side things too. Derek Smart, the ad hoc committee, ad hoc community is illegal, according to the folks that I talked to. Well, around here, they do things a little differently. Shots fired and necktie party. Shots fired, yes, and necktie party, which is the hanging, which is a hate crime. You are absolutely correct. And these are things that have all come out of our council meetings. So when the concerned pastors come next Thursday, I would hope to see the genuine concern from them as it pertains to the flow of our meetings. And Pastor Harris needs to hold whoever's accountable for getting Liddell that letter and her putting it up to use it as a weapon. They need to make sure that they do that, because she put that up just as quick and just as proud. I think that Judy has privately been going back and putting eyes on past decisions that she defended with Liddell. If anybody can connect the dots on it, it's Judy. She must have the strength. She must have the strength to step forward. I agree, she will. And here's the thing, and how you see, if Liddell, if you make her angry like she did with Quincy, she'll quit talking to you. A friend is not going to make you responsible for their behavior. A good friend is going to say, check me when I'm wrong. My friends check me when I'm wrong, and my community checks me when I'm wrong. Like I said, I had a whole 2-hour conversation with Jan Arbor last night, and it was insightful. And I'm taking in her advice, Jan Marie Arbor of the 7th Ward. You take in and you listen to people, because we don't know it all. And it's not just her. I listen to everything people say. I even listen to some, they complained about Chick-fil-A having traffic going down Ballinger. I can't help that. You got, that traffic is going to roll around. You got 2 chicken sandwich places, Popeyes and Chick-fil-A, and the people lining up to get in them places. Chick-fil-A right now, because it's new. Bishop Priest, good morning. Because of California is standing up. I appreciate you, Bishop T. Priestley, for I do, and the support, because we need it. And as we see things are changing around here, people are getting involved. Alan, in my opinion, Liddell is deeply corrupt. That's why she cannot operate or chair fairly, because of her dirty hands. Well, 2 of her friends that she hangs with do have, and they're up there at the council meetings. Chelsea Brown works for Eric Eggleston, his 501c3. I think they wanted is $1 million or $2 million. And then Deion Freeman, I didn't know she had a nonprofit. I have not had a chance to check to see if her nonprofit won anything, but she's also recalling Councilman Mays also, which is her right as a first ward resident. Arza, I felt bad for him, because I think he's being manipulated, but sometimes to stand with the point that he's got to be held accountable to. And I do feel bad sometimes with Quincy, because I think Quincy has gotten caught up in it. And Liddell is kind of like, you with me, we rolling, and you get caught up with it. And when people become friends, you kind of roll together. They use Quincy because they know he'd go against Mays. He's been conflicted between his heart of flint and hatred for Mays. Floyd Turner, I think that is the best way to sum that up. I truly do. Because Quincy will have a heart with some things, but then you have Liddell in his ear, and I agree, because it's some things that he does that I appreciate. Matter of fact, Judy was going, and Jane they were, when we had a budget here, it was just the three of us, me, Judy, and Quincy, having a meeting in the dome for the budget hearings. There was no action. It wasn't illegal. And I had to throw him a couple lifelines. I saw him getting frustrated. And I let him sink a little bit first before I threw him a life preserver, because they was on him. They were on him, but he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. And so I think he gets frustrated. Quincy has volunteered and kept his thing, like I said, Dewey Park. But they'll use Quincy to go after people. And I hope Quincy gets out of letting them use them, come to the other side, because listen, you're going to be protected with the right people. But he got to deal with that $11,000 lawnmower, which is a nice lawnmower, y'all. And that $4,750 check. And Joseph Evans, thank you, from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We appreciate your support and being on here. But Quincy he got to hold back. I mean, it was getting good to everybody. They asked me, is there anything that you want? I'm like, oh, no. Now, Councilman Mays joking now, talking about some, I need to ask for me a 2023 Cadillac. And I'm like, well, if you ask what Cadillac, I want a Bentley. If I'm gonna go to prison, let me get a Bentley. I like to get, and I got a list of stuff that I need to get, and we need to, and he is saying it jokingly, but they were really, was it bribery? I personally feel it was. Quincy got a lawnmower. He didn't go get, and he cares about his community, but I think he's getting caught up. He needs to distance himself, and he should have did it a long time ago, because they were running as this clique. And so when you're on the outside and, they got this clique, they had them 5 votes. They knew how were they going to vote. And of course they felt everything was wasting time. Why? Because they had already made up their minds how to vote before they got there. We're supposed to do that in the public. We're supposed to do all of that in Auburn, Alabama, in the House. All right. We're supposed to decide the decisions in the public. When they're making those behind the scenes, that's a problem. Councilwoman Murphy Carr, she said she didn't even meet with Ashley Capital. She didn't. She did not. She stands on her conviction. The people try to say everybody always vote the same and do the same. Well, what I say, they will say, well, us three, that's just not true. I met, and I went with Janice Pfeiffer, and we met, and we met with him, and it was insightful. Thank you, Mr. Williams. I appreciate that compliment. Arlene, about that Quincy doesn't see anything wrong with accepting the lawnmower from Ashley Capital and not recusing himself from voting. Yeah, he was proud of that. He's like, that's right. I'm on vote. I can't wait. And then he started talking. Liddell should have pulled him in, and Judy like, look, shh, you're telling on yourself, bruh. They're going to use this for later. He has surrounded himself with people who, and I'm not speaking to Judy, Liddell should have pulled him back in and told him, you need to be quiet, because this could turn into something very serious. And she didn't. And she didn't, because she's so defensive on everything. If they're smart, Mama Quincy, if they're smart and they want to say this, so that's exactly what they will do. That is true. So I just want to say this. I'm gonna get into this round robin one later, because we got a letter that came from one of the council people, and she was, there's an undertone to some things. And when she wrote the letter, I don't think it was from where she came from, but I'm gonna talk with her in person about the letter, because I didn't agree with the letter, because our charter states you cannot just do round robins and everybody about your time, and we should did this beforehand. Just as their true friend, this is politics. I am with Mays. Okay, Lady J. Don't forget. Don't forget Quincy is a lobbyist. He told us he was lobbying. I'm like, woo. And Councilwoman Ricardo broke out that charter on him. Like, wait a minute now. But I'm gonna get back to this letter. When she put the letter out to all of the councils, one of the council members, and stated basically that we should we need to change how we are doing these meetings, and other council members weren't reached out to. You're not supposed to reach out to everybody, because it means you're talking, you're discussing. You can't do it. That's why the charter says only 2. So Attorney Kim did send some, he not legal, but he put into the email and he stated, this needs to be a discussion item because people were starting to comment on that. But this sounds like a good idea. This is what we need to do. And you can't have emails with all 9 of us and people start discussing them. You can't do that. And she did it. Now, I think she had an undertone to that letter where she was getting ready to get, because I signed on to that meeting and so did Councilwoman Mays. And how she is a little bit sassy. I think she was trying to come for me a little bit, but she probably should have read that charter stating that you can only 2 people can, then she would have understood why we only have 2 people call a meeting. Only 2 people can call a meeting, and she would have understood. But Attorney Kim threw her a lifeline to save her after she sent this email. She should have called me. She should have called me before she made the email. She made the email to make a statement to get out there ahead of it and made a fool of herself. She made a fool of herself because Attorney Kim had, so you can't send the email and have this whole discussion on how we're going to change the process, because when people start clicking onto it, we hadn't talked about it in public, and she did it. But she did it trying to be smart, and she outsmarted herself, with that one. You can't make emails and do that. So only two people can call a meeting. You can't call all 9 people and say, is this day good for you? Well, we want to have a meeting and we want to talk about can we have cotton candy machines in front of City Hall and how much profit can be made? Because each person it's going to start dialogue. That's why it's only 2 people. So hopefully she will understand that and she can share with Liddell Lewis why only 2 people. It's not a rogue meeting, only 2 people. If you can't attend, that's fine. Everybody can attend every meeting. If you can't attend, that's okay, because we know that Liddell Lewis, you said this is a part-time job. So we have no problem with you not being there, especially if you're not going to chair. If you're not chairing, listen, we're going to get in and we're going to get out, and it's going to be a good meeting. That vibe is going to be right. It's going to be good. And I want y'all to check out that one meeting once that first one she was removed, when Judy chaired. I mean, they were joking. We finished the agenda, the one with the 18 items, and it felt good just to have that peace and calm. That's how our meeting should be. Our meeting should be peaceful and calm. Not all the time, because there's going to be healthy debate, and healthy debate is normal. But I think that we got some work to do. So the meeting, and I'm going to close with this for next Thursday. I'm hoping that Pastor Harris addresses the letter that went to all the pastors that Liddell put up to try to make a point, and she was not making a point because she obviously didn't understand the charter. 2 people, 2, just 2. Only 2 can make that, can have a meeting. If you can't make it, that's fine. The clerk contacts people, and then when the posting goes up. So she needs to understand things. But what she didn't have was any ARPA meetings or working sessions. Why? She didn't have not a one, because we know who all getting the money. I mean, it ain't getting to the people who need it the most. People with blue types will not get it. Why? Because they don't have insurance. They don't have insurance, so they will not be getting those funds, a lot of them. So, Mickey, I think we done. You got your mic on?
I got it on now.
Okay, so if I could not get to all of your remarks and questions, I am sorry, because it is a lot of information that's going on. I want to tell each and every one of you, thank you for tuning in. And click like, share, and subscribe to 810. Subscribe, because it's going to take all of us. And we need y'all. We need you. I need you. Get involved. Because like Philip Lee said, there's coded language. And y'all better pay attention who they're putting in place with things. They're putting their people in place at the local levels. That's going to be at the city or municipalities level, the township level. They're putting people in at the level of the state level, and then the federal level. And y'all better pay attention. And I'm going to tell you this. I don't think that they want, I feel our city clerk is coming under attack. And I want people to understand, her department is short-staffed. She's auto-correcting a department they don't even take credit cards of people who had to come to for permits. They don't take any credit card payments. So she has to not only find someone qualified, she had to redo job descriptions and bring everything up to date. the clerk's office was technically probably stuck in, I'm gonna say 1962 with the technology. As how I mean, it was extremely antiquated. And so when we have to give her the time to bring it up, and it's a lot that she has to do and that she is working on while being short staffed. Sometimes you got to give some people some grace, and grace is definitely deserved. When people stress you to push you, that's not what we're here for. We vote her in, and we need to support her, and she needs the community support because they don't want the clerks. I'm gonna say the MAGA people want all Republican clerks. I believe that. I believe it because they always claim voter tampering, and they want someone who looks like them, who acts like them, who is them. And they want all the city clerks to be a part of their group because that's who they trust. I want to say, and I'm going to close out, y'all pay attention, get involved. We're at the point that everybody has got to get involved. They talk about these shows. Why? They don't want you to be involved. They don't want you to know. They control some people. Some people they control, but they don't want y'all to know what's really happening. That's why you have to click, like, and share. Grassroots is important. You got to don't just talk about why and getting some. Get involved. Because listen, what we done learned about, and I keep saying I'm gonna close. Because Mickey, I was the cash apps.
Yeah, oh my God. I know you're gonna do a show on that, right?
Mickey, I met my first time meeting that pastor, and he spoke at the podium. Sometimes you may not need to politically get involved if you are a spiritual leader or a religious leader. Because this stuff now, it is not helping our community. And so how do you heal that? I'm hoping this Thursday meeting, we'll have some results and have some answers. Because this mess now, I'm like, but I'm anything you want to say?
Nah. I'm gonna say this: the studio will be get together. We working on it now, so we'll be in the studio. We working fast as we can.
Well, we're gonna talk about Thursday's meeting, and listen, next week, y'all, it is me and my colleague, Jeremy Carter. She's gonna be on my show with me next Saturday. And so listen, we're gonna break it down. And so I am looking forward to that because her and I are gonna be on, and we're gonna talk about it's a lot. We're gonna discuss some things, and we're gonna discuss Doug Matthews with the shirts. Doug coming up here trying to claim somebody was doing something unethical. And then when I went to take him the receipt to show him, which he had requested, and he didn't want to see it. And then it turned into I'm an angry Black woman. And then he said I hit Doug. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that Thursday meeting with the pastors. We're gonna talk about our last few meetings. We're gonna talk about removing the chair. So next Saturday, it's gonna be me and Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey Carter. We are as Pastor Thureko said, let's talk about it.
Right.
That's his friend. Let's talk about it.
Right.
We're gonna talk about it. And if it's some things that y'all want us to talk about, inbox me. If it's some conversation you want us, hey Angela. I don't even know who all these people, but I appreciate everybody in here.
Hey, listen, they coming from all. I say out of the 50 states, we locked in 30 of them.
Hey, that's what's up. So if it's something y'all want us to discuss, inbox me because listen, we're gonna talk about it. And Thursday meeting gonna be enough. But we, and then also we have a council committee meeting on Kermit Lines, your perfectly manicured nails. Listen, Kermit, I did just get them done last weekend though, but a few weeks ago, man, my nails were on. They were in critical condition. My nails should have been in the ICU at Hurley Hospital because they look terrible. But if it's something, hey Angela from South Carolina, what I want people to do, inbox me. If it's something you want us to talk about, something you want us to discuss, we're going to do it next weekend. Next Saturday, we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. And it's always interesting. I'm quite sure that it's going to be some more stuff unraveling because it is never boring. But listen, y'all get involved. I mean, if you're in South Carolina, California, you are in Alabama, you in DC, you in Maryland, you in Georgia, wherever you at, get involved. Get involved in your local politics. When Georgia residents stood in line, was it for the Stacey Abrams? They closed down voting precincts. Now is the time. They want us to go back. That Project 2023, I believe it's the name, of Project 2024. Y'all better pay attention. And Mickey, I think I'm gonna do a midweek one on that one because we need to talk about that. We have got to have eyes wide open and no longer shut.
And you ain't watching the chat. I just put up Kentucky up here. Here go North Carolina right here. Yeah, we got Kentucky. Here go Kentucky
North
right
Carolina.
there. They go North Carolina right here. You know, they putting up where they from now.
Listen, I appreciate all of y'all.
This another North Carolina. They here.
Listen, I'll be in North Carolina next month, Charlotte. You know, my mother goes back and forth. I have 2 sisters in North Carolina, and I have
oh my goodness.
I have
Tennessee
a lot of
in
Tennessee.
The building.
Is that Jonathan? I call him Tennessee, and Lady J Tennessee. And
oh my goodness, hold up. You see that right there, don't you?
Oh, Texas. Okay, Texas for you know, I'll be in Houston. I think I'll be there January. I've been working with some of our council members there, and I'm planning to go to Houston. Keith Downey, who was
oh my goodness, you see that? He
serves on there. Italy. Listen, Vino, I would love to be in Italy where there's a wine.
you see Iceland on here.
Philip, we're gonna have to talk while you in Iceland watches the.
Yep, he said Japan too.
Well, listen.
We can't forget
the great
NOLA.
State of Louisiana. Lewis, you know, you and I are talking in the middle of the night. You'll call me or text me and we'll talk. The great state of Louisiana. So of gumbo. So I appreciate each and every one on Las Vegas. All right now. Listen, I am not a good, you know, I like to go to Las Vegas for the shows. I'm not good at gambling. I don't like watching my money go down. But I love the shows down there, the concerts and the theater that they have there.
This is the last one I'm gonna put up. This is the last one I'm gonna put up.
Arkansas, and some people say Arkansas. Oh, like, Arkansas in the house. But that's what I love because it has to share all over because what's happening to Flint is not unique. It's happening everywhere. We had to create our own platforms to talk about it. Southside, Mr. Clay. I used to live in Chicago. I did for 15 years going back and forth.
I ain't gonna put no more up, Tanya. I'm sorry, but the people coming on here, they coming on here, listen. They showing the love, and I gotta put them up.
I still do business in Chi-Town. I'm still doing things, working there. I don't have as much time, so I just do some consulting work there now. So love me some Chicago. That's Chicago don't sleep like New York don't sleep. So I want to say, like I said, sending love to everybody from whatever state you're from. Please know that it is in my heart. And if you are a praying person, and I don't pray with everybody. So when every time some Tonya Burns to pray, if you got some demons up in you, I am not praying with you. I'm not breaking the spiritual bread with you. I will not do that. I am not going to be in agreement with someone who does not act Christ-like. I'm not going to do it. So no, I don't pray with everybody. I don't do that. I'm not going to break spiritual bread with you when you out here causing all kind of hell. Not going to do it. But you want to be a different person when you sitting up there, you get to own that all day long. So to each and everybody that's on there, I want y'all to enjoy your Sunday. Mickey, I got about 20 baskets of clothes if you like to fold up. I ain't lying. Your girl don't have no time. No time at all. So, Mickey, what you gonna do today?
I'm just gonna sit back and chill. I ain't gonna watch the games. You know the game's on today. I gotta
college.
watch.
Wait, is Dion on?
Yes, they come on at 12 o'clock against USC.
Listen, now you know we got to get off prime time. People don't like it because he talk a lot of mess.
Oh, I love him.
But he coming, he following through. And guess what? He got everybody watching. We need to make sure that we are taking care of our people in our community. I'm serious, y'all. Y'all got to get involved. And for those who don't, start asking your nieces, nephews, kids, y'all, register to vote, because they bank on we don't vote, that we'll complain. Put your complaint on paper. When Stacey Abrams registered over 850,000, I believe, they increased with the voter registration. It took the community to do that. Grassroots is important. We can't do it, but you got to get involved. So to each and every one of you who spent time with us, Mickey, for real, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to get off of here. For real though. So tune in next Saturday. We may do a midweek show, but next Saturday it is me and Councilwoman Jennifer Carter. And people don't know, she is my God sister. She is. So I'm gonna always have her back, and she gonna have my back. That's just the way we share the same godmother. And she was actually named after our godmother. So I want to say thank you to everyone. And Mickey, thank you to you. Everything that you do, because I come with a whole lot of stuff that we got to put up, and you make it happen every single time. Every single time. So for those people who don't understand, Mickey is the one that, get my stuff up. And he'll get stuff 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning from me. And it's hard when you work with someone who got your groove, understand it. So I appreciate, Mickey, everything that you do, because you make it happen. You make it happen.
I thank y'all for trusting in me.
But hey, it's working. And if we got people viewing and it's sharing, it's working. And that's what I care about. And you that guy. You that guy for Saturday morning. But I want everybody to tune in next Saturday. Tune in, and we're gonna have Jerry Winfrey Carter on, and it's Pastor Thrill, because let's talk about it. Maggie, I'm getting ready to go make me some coffee, because I got up this morning and didn't take my coffee, and I'm gonna find me. I'm hungry.
I got you. I'm finna end it this time, but we will be in the studio. Y'all stay tuned.
Listen, y'all. I don't know where the studio is at, so I have no idea. I guess it's some top flight, top secret, But I'm happy to have Jerry Winfrey Carter there with me next week. And so is it different backgrounds, Mickey? What can we expect?
We got 2 different sets.
Okay, so I want the set that makes me look about 50 pounds lighter.
Listen,
when you get to be 55, people don't understand. Listen, your body went through some changes,
Right.
Some changes. So so next week it'll be in the studio, and I'm looking forward to that. And it's going, and then if anybody got anything, inbox me if you want to talk about it, because we're gonna cover it. It's not gonna be scripted. We're gonna just be organic. It's gonna be organic, a natural flow. And we gonna do it. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. When Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey Carter, when she go to like and them glasses, everybody be like, she about to pounce on somebody then. She about to get you then.
For sure.
All right, Mickey, you enjoy your Saturday with you and your family. Hey, and tell Nikki I said hi.
I got you. She probably watching it anyway.
Tell Nikki I said hi, because we are borrowing her other half, and I appreciate you for all that you do. So y'all, look, take some time for yourself. Get involved. If you're not registered to vote, make sure you register to vote. I only want voters on here, registered to vote on here that I'm communicating with, because y'all got to vote. You got to, because, they have got it together. The MAGA people, they voting against themselves. They voting against to remove Social Security. They voting to remove any social program that there is. And a lot of them need it. Right. So, all right, we're going to talk about, I think, the midweek. And like I said, I want to send a shout out to Jan Marie Arbor of the 7th Ward, because I love collaborating with her, because she's a reader, and she helps to make me a better person, as well as everyone in my community. So Mickey, shut this down. Y'all have a good weekend.